So let's look at the next part of the CRUD operations. Now we've done 3 of these already, so there's one left, which is the update operation. And in many ways this is the most complicated one of the 4 operations. And the notion here is that we will retrieve some information from the database into our PHP application, sort of present it to the user will make changes, and then that information will go back to the database. It's an update operation. It's basically going to be some form of update table statement in SQL. We're going to change the values, whatever they are, according to what's been entered by the user. Now in our sitemap, we've done the first 4 rows of this, all of these. So we've just got that one that's left at the bottom. Now update is quite complicated because it's actually going to require 3 different processes. So we're going to need to find out which which employee we want to actually update, retrieve those details in a form that the user can then edit them, and then finally send those updated details back into the database table. Now what that will look like is something like this. That's going to need, again, it's going to need those 3 pages. So the first one here you can see is emp update, and that's a form, and it's pretty straightforward, simple form. It's basically only got a kind of a single text entry field, and here you can see the person's entered 220, for example. Then we'll click continue, and that will take us to the response page. Now what's going to be different about this response page? Normally we've had response pages that print or save information into a database, but what we need to do here is our response page is actually another form. So this is the starting point, which is where we request which employee we want to work with, and then you click on continue, and of course what happens next is we need to bring up all the details for person 220. And it's not simply a matter of just printing them. What we need to do is we need to print them into a form, because they have to be editable by the user. So the user is going to change the name or the manager number or whatever the details are. So this is the second page. So you've got emp update response, and this is where things are again different, because when you click continue, we're going to have another response page. And of course what that response page will do is it will take the contents of this page and update the database and just sort of send a message saying, yes, we've updated that person's details. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this first one here, which is quite straightforward really. The first one is emp update, and what emp update looks like is this, and it's basically just a form. It's a single text entry box with a continue button, and the notion is that we're going to type a number in here like 220 and you click continue, then that information will be dealt with by the response page. And you can see that here in the HTML of the form. If you look at the first line, the action is emp update response.php, and I'm passing the information through using post. So there's no real surprises in here, it just looks like that. It's a form, we've got an action, we've got a post, we've got our text entry field, and we've got a button. That's about it. So the next bit is to do emp update response, and in many ways that's probably the most complicated part of this whole application. But we'll move on to that in the next video.